Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hot Body Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Welcome along. It's the Monday morning episode. But if you are an IFS subscriber, you'll get this on Sunday evening. If you are not, you can get it on Monday morning. It comes out on your usual podcast app. But also, for the very first time, this episode will be going out from 6 a.m. on Monday on YouTube.
Woo!
And you'll be able to watch us recording. It's like the Wizard of Oz, where the curtain comes back and see the little prick who is the Wizard of Oz doing what he does, making the magic happen, and you'll be able to see that for real. Except there's not one wizard, there's two of us, but we are both pricks. Fair enough, Sam?
Yeah, but the difference is with the Wizard of Oz is that he was masquerading as someone who knew what he was doing, which, in our defence, we have never done. We've never professed to be anything other than pricks. Yeah. If anything, I live in fear of anyone finding out that we are in some way secretly professional, and that in fact it was all an act. It was an act. Do you know what I mean? Like Dean Martin, he used to have apple juice in his whiskey glass, didn't he? And his whole thing was, "Oh, I'm a bit drunk. Oh, I'm a bit drunk and shambolic." But in fact, it was forensically choreographed and rehearsed.
Yeah.
So
I think later on he would get drunk afterwards and act the prick.
Yeah.
But not when he was on stage.
No, when he was on stage.
So that's
but
good.
I can guarantee that whilst neither of us are drunk, we are every bit as unprofessional as we sound, and hopefully that will come across even more strongly now that you can see us in action.
As Winston Churchill said in his podcast, that we neither of us are drunk, but in the morning we will still be incredibly handsome.
That's it.
Like that,
I think that was the exact quote. Yeah.
This podcast. They put them out, didn't they, during the war? They put a podcast out every 3 times a week.
He used to do one with Lord Halifax. It was like a sort of it was bantery, and they invented it to keep the spirits and morale of the British people up. So they'd play it in the tube stations during the Blitz. It would just be pumped out in speakers, and they'd do funny things. Yeah. They'd do impressions of
characters,
like all of that sort of stuff.
They sideways look at the week's news and the newspapers.
Yeah, and they'd also do a game where they'd list all the big battles that was going on in continental Europe that weekend, and they'd predict who would win.
Battle prediction. That's right. Yeah.
Allies,
and of course, his main rival. His main rival, of course, was the podcast by Lord Ho Ho, which came from Germany. That was beamed in. I think he had PG Woodhouse was his regular guest, I think, on there.
Yeah, those fuckers. He took the Lord Ho Ho coin, old Woodhouse, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. Should we reveal that we're taking the coin by putting this episode on YouTube?
I will tell you this: we are not working for Nazis. No way.
We're not working for nothing either.
That's true. Now, there's a lot of things that have been burning inside of me because we've just come off the back of a 3-week break.
Can you deliver that line again, but in song, please?
There are many things that are burning inside of me. We're off the back of a 3-week break.
I was thinking it was going to be. It felt more like a soul kind of line. There are lots of things that have been burning inside of me.
Oh, like that. Yeah, it was. You're right. You're right. That sounded better.
Okay.
When I was, I can't remember how it came up, but I was telling my kids, they were like, "What was your favourite show when you were very little?" And I said, "Well, the first show I remember being bang into, like one of my earliest memories." Was watching a show called Animal Crackers, right?
Right.
Which
was that Crackers with a K?
Yeah. And it was actually with a K and a W, mate. Quackers.
Animal Quackers.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Fuck.
So it came back to me like these things do something. You know, like latent memories, not like abuse, right? Although but there was. A memory that's buried and because you get older and your brain's filled with so much, some of them get buried deep, and then something triggers it. And I said, oh yeah, animal crackers. I remember in our first house in Brentford, and I used to, my memory is I was always naked, right? Because when you're a kid, you're naked a lot. At least I was, right?
I wasn't.
All right. Yeah, like wandering, not like when I was like 5, 6. I'm talking about, I would have been a toddler, right? Or I must have been a bit older because I remember I could speak. And I would wander around the house. One of the reasons I remember being naked all the time was I got a hernia when I was a kid. And the first I knew of it was I came downstairs naked in quite a lot of pain. And all my brothers were sitting there watching that. Look. And it's a really vivid memory because when you're that age, people, especially people who you kind of love and respect, suddenly are all acting in like abject disgust and trying to run away from you like you're a monster. That really like scares you. So, you're like, what the fuck's going on?
So was there a big lump then? Was a
protruding lump from my groin, the shape and size of an egg.
Right.
An egg in its shell.
Do they call that a goiter? Is that the right word I'm looking for? They call it a goiter.
And it protruded out, and they were freaking out, and they were disgusted.
Google that.
And then my mum goes, "Oh fucking hell, what's going on there?" She didn't know what it was. We went to hospital. They said he's got a fucking hernia here, and the hernia would suddenly be provoked, and it would happen at school. So like something, maybe I was doing some vigorous playing that day, and suddenly it would rise. It would rise like Godzilla rose from the sea.
It would come out to play. It would pop its head out of its hidey hole. It was like.
And when it came out, it was excruciating, and I would suddenly just drop in the playground, and I'd be going writhing in agony. And they called my mum. Luckily, my mum worked near the school at Science Centre, which you'll remember from previous stories. Science Centre.
We discussed that.
The Perspex factory, right? And she would come across, and she rushed me to the hospital. And at the hospital, there was a doctor. I think he was some sort of hernia consultant. And he was able to massage my groin back into submission. Right? I know that sounds dodgy, but these are very early, vivid memories.
He was a medical man. I'm sure it was legit.
They'd rush me in. I was like, and he'd just like massage it, and slowly it would go back into its hidey hole, until eventually they performed.
It would be defeated,
and eventually they performed surgery.
By a medical man.
They performed surgery.
I don't know if you heard, because the connection dropped a bit there. But I asked whether it was referred to as a goiter. I've heard the word goiter before.
No.
But I've just Googled it, and a goiter is actually a swelling in the neck resulting from an enlarged thyroid gland.
Right. No, I've never had that. Not yet.
I'll show you it. There's one there. Look at that. I don't know what bit of that we're meant to be focusing on, but that's a goiter.
Have you Googled groinal hernia?
I haven't yet. I'll do it now.
Hernia
Googling stuff's obviously an integral part of this podcast as we do it. Is groinal a word?
No, I just made it up. I don't think it is.
Fatty tissue, or part of your bowel, even.
Fatty tissue.
Pokes through into your groin at the top of your inner thigh. It pushes through a weak spot in the surrounding muscle wall into an area called the inguinal canal.
Fucking hell. Honestly, I'm feeling the pain. Just think, very delicate. But it came in handy because I was only 6 when I had that operation, and it kind of made it better. Although the tissue in that area of the groin remained quite delicate for many years afterwards. And then when I was 12, you'll definitely recall the story of how it was discovered that I had one undescended testicle. Right? I'm not going to go tell that one again. It'll take up too much time. But it was discovered.
Go back through the archive.
Yeah.
Especially not on camera.
No, but it was discovered when I was 12 years old. And it was a popular story. It is a popular story, so it is worth going back to the archive. But it was discovered during a coffin drop that I had an undescended testicle. So I got referral for that. This is 6 years later. But the doctor said, right, you want the good news or the bad news? And my mum would have been, give us the bad news. You go, we're going to have to, it's stuck. Sometimes they get stuck. They're there, but there's a little bit of like muscle or tissue blocking its descent, its drop into the ball bag, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to open him up, and we're literally going to have to tap the gonad through the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Tap, tap, right? And I'm like thinking, well, that is not going to be pleasant, is it? I mean, imagine being kicked in the balls. You think there could be nothing more painful. But what if someone actually opened your body and went directly for the testicle? I mean, without, sorry, Cookie's not liking this. Can you hear the dog?
I can hear the dog,
the dog's outside the Vita modular going mental.
Okay.
Hopefully my son's going to deal with it. Anyway, so
I was just going to say, just as an aside, of course, as we all know, when the testicles do descend, each testicle makes the sound of an old-fashioned cash register.
Yeah,
that's how you know.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And my mum had been listening
like that.
Yeah, that's it. But there should be two. And my
mum and you only heard one. Yeah.
My mum had been listening at the bedroom door. Yeah, that's the second
There's
one.
both of them now.
Did you record?
That represents both of my testicles.
Oh right, okay. And so, I'd only had the one ka-ching, and they said, right, we're going to open you up. We're going to knock the testicle down. And I was like, right, that is bad news. How can there be good news?
Did he say knock them down? Knock it down?
Yeah, tap tap, down it goes. Imagine, let's think. Imagine like Marble Run or something like that, right? There's like, it's up, the gonads start in basically like above, they grow in like your groinal area, right?
Do they not begin just below the nipples?
Maybe they go all the way down. And there's
like in Mousetrap.
There, it's like Mousetrap, right? And they go down, and this one got stuck. But the good thing was that they said, because you've had that hernia operation, we can see you had a hernia operation. We can see that the scar's still there faintly. I'm going, that's right, I had it 6 years ago. It was a nightmare. And they said, well, good news. We can open up the same scar and reach your undescended testicle through that. So that's going to be our point of access. And I was like, well, that's not good. That's good news for you, maybe. Because you're saying, it makes our job easier. Oh, there's already a fucking opening there. We'll be in and out, and hopefully we'll be home in time to watch fucking Corrie, right? Easy for you.
Well, yeah, that is good. That is
fucking lazy surgeon. For me, it makes no difference. What I'm hearing is you're opening up an old scar that's been healing for 6 years, and it hasn't been pleasant. Waiting for that to heal. You're open, just as it's healed, just about, you're going to open it up and set about my gonads from the inside. They go, yeah, that's right. So that's what they did. That was another stay in hospital. And I can't tell you, Andy, when I came round, right, when eventually the painkillers and the anaesthetic wore off, it was simply like, imagine you'd been kicked 50 times in the bollocks by someone wearing steel-capped Dr. Martens. That's what it felt like, and that's what it looked like. And it was my 12th birthday, right? And I remember I couldn't do it. For my 12th birthday, I lay on the sofa and I had to lie with my legs out in the Y shape. I'm not joking, right? And my balls were every fucking colour of the rainbow, like purple, green, yellow, like the scene. If I'd had a camera phone, I wish I'd taken a picture of them, because it was you wouldn't believe what they looked like. It was unreal.
A little bit like a little bit like Chelsea's new hologram badge. Which I was going to mention
that actually, when I was watching
all
the game
colours.
Earlier, I thought that looked like my testicles when I was 12 years old.
My testicles there
on my 12th birthday, and so that was horrible.
But you talking plural. There was two. For the first time, you had two. And what better birthday gift could you have on your 12th birthday than a second testicle?
And the most amazing thing was that when all the painkillers had worn off and the anaesthetic wore off, and I finally could speak, I opened my mouth and I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Oh, we see the state of my bollocks, Mum. Yeah, of course. That's what happens. Oh, Mum, you seen the state of my fucking ballsack? He looks like a fucking psychedelic hologram.
It's like Joseph's fucking Technicolor Dreamcoat.
She's like, who's that? It's me, Sam. Well, you sound different. Yeah, it's because he's finally dropped. State of it, I wish it could have stayed up there. Yeah, so...
Get me a can of Kestrel.
Anyway, that
fucking gasping.
That's not the point. Oh, my shift starts at Billingsgate in 4 hours. I need to get some fucking shut-eye. The point of the story, that was a tangent, because what happened was, that just reminded me, like, I used to wander around naked when I was a kid. And I remember I would stand in front of the telly to watch my favourite shows when I was a kid, because I would act them out. I'm sure we spoke about that as well. You didn't just watch TV, you acted TV
you joined
out.
in.
Like, the best one for that was Hong Kong Phooey. You watch the opening titles of Hong Kong Phooey, and you just fucking do all of Hong Kong Phooey's kung fu moves, wouldn't you?
Or if it was like the A-Team on Knight Rider, when it would finish, like me and my brother would then play the A-Team on Knight Rider. Yeah. Specifically the fight scenes at the end.
Yeah. My brother always still complains. My brother Dom still complains about how much I annoyed him to play Dick Turpin. Fucking hell, you're always on about it. Play Dick Turpin with me. Play Dick Turpin with me. But like, he would have been like 16. He's like, I don't want to play Dick Turpin. Right? But without Animal Kwackers, I loved it, right? And I was telling my kids about it, and I was like, oh, it was fucking amazing. It was like a band of animals, but they were like geezers, humans in animal outfits. And and I remembered the theme tune, because it went like this. It went, Animal Kwackers, Bungo, Rory, Boots and Twang. That was their names, right? So I show it. I show it to my kids on YouTube, right? And I've got to admit, it's, even by the standards of like weird 70s kids shows, it's fucking super duper weird, right? But it's also brilliant. This spaceship, it's like animation, like comes onto the screen, and the Animal Kwackers, as they say their names, Bungo, Rory, Boots and Twang, they come down like a fireman's pole, which was my favourite bit. I remember, you know, and it all comes out. I remember that, because I don't know if we've ever talked about fireman's poles, but it feels like a potential deep dive.
Not enough.
Because with kids, when you're a kid, it's like almost all you think about is going down a fireman's pole.
Yeah. How can I get access to a fireman's pole?
How can I get access to a fireman's pole? Yeah. And so you go down, so they go down that, and I'm fucking going mental in front of the TV. Oh, they go down their fucking pole!
Fireman's pole!
Rory! Bungo, Rory, Boots and Twang. And then the theme tune, the bit that I didn't remember, but only remembered when I watched it back with my kids the other day. The fucking theme tune's amazing. It goes like this. Do you believe in rock and roll? Bam, 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 bam. Into the spaceship and off we go. Bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, fuck it, you stomp. It's like the glam rock era, basically. And that's what's you're fucking stomping. I was stomping listening to it. And even my son then was like, that is a fucking banger. Then the show starts, and it's the four of them, right? And they're all in like these fucking outfits. The lead singer is legitimately the scariest children's character ever conceived of. It's a gigantic...
I'm looking at the fucker now. He's like a
blue lion. That's
lion man.
That's Rory. He's like a big lion man. But the outfit's a British show, and it's quite low budget. And the outfits look really threadbare. They look like the sort of outfits that if you go to a soft play... There used to be a soft play near us called Eddie Cat's. And when you went there, like, Eddie Cat would come out once every hour. You could just see him, like Krusty the Clown, putting his fucking hat on, his Eddie Cat.
Here I come.
Fucking hell,
slap on a smile, do it again.
Has it come round again? What, it's an hour already? Oh. Fucking hell, hang on, let me just finish this snout. Right, come on then, you cunts. Yeah, I'm Eddie Cat, great. Round. But, like, if you got close to Eddie Cat, the fucking outfit looked so old. It was, like, stained, threadbare, you know, like smelt a bit of tobacco and coffee sort of thing. And that's what these cunts look like on Animal Kwackers. But the lead singer, Rory, he's got quite a skinny body if you're looking at a picture of him. But his head is gigantic and
enormous.
Like, it's
there.
just the biggest.
That's the power of YouTube.
Mutated,
if you're watching on YouTube, you can sit there.
Fucking
hell.
But here's the thing about him, right? And then, like, one of them's a chimp, one of them's a cat with an eye patch. He was my favourite one. And I think the other one is, like, maybe a goat or something. Yeah, he's on the drums, the chimp.
Well, they've got two drummers, like the Glitter Band.
Oh,
and there's, who's that? Well, the eye patch.
Yeah, that's my favourite one. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be. He was the totty of the band, the one that all the birds fancied, I imagine.
Right, yeah.
But the only
Rory
one
the lion, Twang the monkey, Bongo the dog, and Boots the tiger.
Yeah, that's it. Bongo, Rory, Boots and Twang. Right. And then they just start. It starts right after this theme tune, and they're just in the studio, and they just do a cover version of like a classic. So if you go on YouTube, you can see them, and they do.
They're on YouTube, are they?
They do "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds," right?
Fucking hell.
But here's the thing about Rory, the Blue Lion. Do you see his mouth? Right? See how he's got this big fucking weird mouth, a big tongue, and it's really scary, right? You can see that because it was so low budget and cheap, right? His mouth doesn't move. So they're like, he's singing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, but his mouth doesn't move at all, right? Which makes it a scary spectacle 10 times as scary. Because he's dancing along, like acting, I'm fucking singing this. Like, really confident, like, I'm fucking singing this, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But his mouth doesn't move once. And the others, their mouths they're not even open at all. But somehow the singing's coming out. On another one, they do Blockbuster. Who's that by? The Sweet or something?
It's The Sweet.
Yeah. Blockbuster.
Fucking hell. The Blockbuster.
They do it, and they do it all the way through, right? All the way through. It's not like we're going to do a fun little cover version and then go on to the next bit of the show. They take it seriously, right? They do this whole song. Then when it ends, fucking suddenly, Rory sits down with a big storybook and he goes, right, do you want to hear a story? Right? And he just reads a story, which is from a book about an adventure that they've all been on, right? Him and the rest of his band.
And is his mouth still not moving?
Still not moving.
While he's doing the story.
Still not moving. Tells some fucking far-fetched story about what him and the rest of the band have been up to, right? The one I saw, he reckoned
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, he reckoned they'd found a falling star, like, in a park, right? And then somehow got it back into space, right? And then, when the story ends, they just do another song completely from beginning to end, really serious, like earnestly, an earnest performance. You get a strong sense that the actors were very frustrated rock stars and this was their thing. And then the show just ends. And watching it back, I remembered the visceral sort of excitement and joy that I got from watching this. I suppose it was like an early introduction to rock and roll. But the other thing I remember is this. My brothers are all like around about a decade older than me. They're a generation older than me, right? So they were watching kids' shows in the late 60s, early 70s. I was watching Animal Crackers in the late 70s, 10 years later almost, right? And they would walk past, and I remembered this. It came to me. I thought, there's something that sours my memory. What is it? There's something that sours my memory about this show. And I thought, I know what it is. There was another show like this. There was another show like it that was much more famous. And it was called Banana Splits. And it was from America.
The Banana Splits, yeah,
right?
Of course.
The Banana Splits.
Yeah.
And it was the same concept. They were a band. It was human men dressed in animal costumes, and they were a rock and roll band, right? And it was a bit like the Monkees. They all lived together in a house and got up to fucking silly japes, right? And my brothers, this is what I remember. My brothers would walk past me while I was dancing and singing and going wild in front of Animal Crackers. And they would go, not this shit. It's just a cheap rip-off of Banana Splits, right? And I would go, I checked this with my mum when I saw her. I would go ape shit at them. Like, fuck off! No, it's fucking not! Right? And they'd go, it's fucking rubbish. Fucking Banana Splits is the best show ever. We used to watch that. This is like some fucking idiot's just done a rip-off of it and it's shit. No, it's not fucking shit. It's the best show. What the fuck do you fucking know? Fuck the Banana Splits. Shut up. You never even seen the fucking Banana Splits.
And you're naked at this point as well, yeah?
I'm fucking naked. My willy's flapping everywhere.
Yeah, with fury.
Flapping all over. Like, my willy's furious. My hernia's probably fucking getting aggravated. It's probably what gave me the fucking hernia, right? Okay, fucking, stop fucking. If you don't fucking like it, you don't have to watch it. Fuck off then. It's my telly time. It's my fucking telly time. Right? I'm telling my kids this and they're fucking pissing themselves, right? And I'm going, yeah, but think about it. Everyone's tribal about their TV shows when they're young, right? So my son loves Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's watching it right now. He loves it like it's a religion. He loves it like as much as he loves West Ham. It's the same sort of level. And my daughter's the same about Grey's Anatomy, right? And if someone at that age, if someone doesn't like the show you're into, it makes you livid, right? It's almost like football hooliganism. Like you'll fight someone who likes the rival show. And that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
with banana splits and animal
my
crackers.
kids were like, "Is this really?" And then they went to my mum's for lunch, and my older brother was there, and I couldn't go because I was working. And they go, I think someone said, "How's your dad?" "Oh yeah, he was telling us about a show called Animal Crackers." I said to my brother, "Do you remember that show, Animal Crackers?" He goes, "No, I don't know what you're talking about. Bit after my time." "Yeah, it was Sam's show. Dad said he liked it growing up, and that you lot used to wind him up by saying it was rubbish." My brother feels like, I've got no memory of that. But my mum said, you did. And she apparently,
bastard.
She went, and he's always been very sensitive, and you used to play on that, and he used to look forward to that show. It was his favourite moment of the week, and you lot would all come in, and you'd start slating it to him, and he would get so upset and angry, and it would cause a big argument. My brother's like, I've got no recollection.
Would pop, and his willy would flap.
That's why he got his hernia, from the stress of it. And my brother's like, I don't remember that. And then my kids go, he goes, what was it anyway? And my kids go, oh, he showed it to us. It's like these sort of men, and they're like dressed up in animal costumes doing rock and roll songs. And he's gone, oh yeah, like Banana Splits. And they're going, that's what got him going. They've come home and told me this. They told me the whole story. When they said, oh, he said he didn't remember, but when we described the show, he said, do you mean Banana Splits? I was like, the cunt! The fucking cunt! No, not fucking Banana Splits. In the end, my kids have demanded to see Banana Splits on YouTube. So I said, all right, we'll fucking see it. Then you can fucking be the judges, right? All right, fine. Let's fucking have a fucking pipe at it, shall we? And then you can fucking decide. We've watched it, and clearly Banana Splits was a superior show. I mean, it was American. It was American. It looks like the
budget behind it.
I mean, it's like they're on location, right? They're like in the opening titles. The Animal Crackers opening titles is like a really sort of cheap-looking animation where they've not even coloured it in, right? But over on fucking Banana Splits, you know, like the opening of the Monkeys.
They're driving around in that Jeep, aren't they?
Yeah, they're driving in a Jeep. They're surfing. There's like, they're on the beach, and there's sexy women. There's sexy women. There's the Hollywood sign. It's like, and the actors are brilliant.
Fantastic show.
But at the time, I'd never seen it. I'd heard of it, but I was sick of hearing it, because if it was a show that happened a few years ago, you wouldn't see it. They didn't show it. There was no YouTube. There was no fucking million channels where you can, right? So I'd heard about it, but I was sick of hearing about it. I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. Nothing's as good as Animal Crackers. What I would say, Banana Splits has a brilliant theme tune, which is still used, I believe, to this day by Chris Evans to introduce his radio show. He's always used it.
Right.
He's always used the Banana Splits theme. I can't remember how it goes now, but it's brilliant. I mean, it's like it's like the ultimate.
1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4.
That's it. Yeah. And Chris Evans always uses that on his radio show, because Chris Evans, he knows what he's doing, right? He knows what's good. He knows what works. He knows what fucking works, and that works. There's no better fucking theme tune than that. It gets you in the mood, doesn't it? But I remember
there was a punk group called the Dickies who released a cover version of it. Cover version.
That was
and
quite
you could get
popular,
it on yellow vinyl. It got into the charts, yeah.
I tell you what, as well. Was it the band Splodgenessa Bounds Who was it who did a theme tune? Who did Hawaii 5-0?
Don't know. It might have been Sponge Nessa Bounce, yeah. Can't remember.
With a really bad track. They did like a shit version of the Hawaii 5-0 theme tune.
Yeah.
With a badly
I could
played
Google
trumpet.
it.
Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, so that's it really. I mean, that it was since you've been gone, the Animal Kwackers sort of saga ended up looming large over me and my family and my kids have become obsessed with it. But we did watch a few episodes, and I would encourage you to do it, because although in the end I've admitted now through the eyes of a very sophisticated 48-year-old, right, which is what I am, I can admit that objectively Banana Splits was a superior show. But for me, Animal Kwackers, there's something so charming about it, and I would suggest you watch it, and the theme tune is amazing. I just think that's such a great opening line for a kid's show, for a little kid, and they go, do you believe in rock and roll? And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I fucking do. I do now, you cunts.
Yeah. Take
I
me to rock and
fucking
roll world.
count me in. I'm on your fucking spaceship.
Yeah, you mad bastard, huge-faced lion cunt.
With your fucking immovable mouth. You're fucking somehow singing a Beatles go. And how did you fucking know? That's where the budget went. How much it cost to clear the rights to do Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they had to go cheap on the costumes.
I haven't got any recollection whatsoever of Animal Crackers. Yeah, it was out. I've just looked. It was out between 1975 and 1978, and I guess it'll have been repeated.
I
possibly when you were
repeated. Yeah,
a bit
when I was
older.
like 4 or 5.
I can't remember it. Maybe Tiny T's didn't take it. Maybe Tiny T's didn't pick it up.
No, hang on. No, we're not having that on.
That's just silly.
It's silly, and it also
that
could
lion,
be corrupting.
that's frightening.
That's going to scare the
we're not having any of
bairns.
that.
No, thanks. Thanks, but no thanks.
That,
we'll stick with Mary Mungo and Midge.
Yeah. We didn't get Tiz Was in Tiny T's until its final series in 1981 or 82.
And it
the rest of the country had Tiz Was. Tiny T's were like, no, that's too madcap. There's far too much mess going on with all that flan and gunk and gunge and what have you. It's a bad example of the youth of the Northeast.
Yeah, you got your man doing his Trevor McDonald impressions. I don't like that much either, because it's a bit disturbing. No. Have you heard about Chris Tarrant's having trouble with his neighbours? Talking to Tiz Was.
No, I haven't. What's the problem?
He's it's one of those ones where the headline is really. Yeah, I nearly texted you it actually. I did feel it like slight when I first saw it, which I think was in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep. I thought to myself, this could be emergency pod material. This
middle of the night pod.
I might have to actually wake Andy up. I haven't done that before, but the time may come where I have to actually.
Oh yeah, definitely
wake you up if a story of enough importance breaks. Fuck, where is it? I'm gonna have to Google it. Right.
We'd have to head to our local Asda's and take the temperature of the nation again.
Yeah.
With our, I'll have a look, see if I can find it as well, so we can refer to it.
It's a cracking headline. Like, it's the headline when you see it that really gets you. Yeah.
Does it explain the whole thing? Does it?
The Telegraph headline. It's in every newspaper, but the Telegraph headline was where I saw it first. It says Chris Tarrant's plea to sunbathe in peace ignored by council.
Excellent.
It was like really prominent on the Daily Telegraph's fucking news website. Chris Tarrant's plea. Can I please sunbathe in peace? Right.
And if you watch it on YouTube, there's his face where he's been told that he can't sunbathe in peace.
Chris Tarrant has lashed out at his local council after his desire to sunbathe in peace was, quote marks, ignored in a planning row. He's fucking hell. He's absolutely livid about it, mate. I've got a login for Telegraph. Fucking hell. Yeah, well, basically what it is.
Let's not worry about too much.
There's a few funny quotes in there, right? But basically, he's like my favourite detail is that he is the head of the Tenants Association where he lives,
right?
Which I just think is funny. Because, imagine I don't know if he's in a shared block or what the deal is, right? But I have been in one of those associations in the past, like Leaseholders Association, and you all have to get together. It's really awkward, and you all have to decide: are we going to all chip in to get that fucking hallway painted or something like that, right? And but I like it that Chris and the person who volunteers to be the leader is usually quite a weird Lampard figure.
Yeah.
Very often they might be retired.
Well, I was going to say, was he elected, do you think, or has he volunteered for the job?
I reckon
was he elected on his popularity?
Usually, you rarely get more than one person who wants to do it. So I think formally you have to be elected, but whoever volunteers gets the job straight away. But I think it's funny that he's gone and volunteered, right? He's like, yeah, I'll do it.
He's not on the telly as much as he was these days, so maybe he's using this as an excuse.
He's semi-retired.
To fill his time in.
He's minted beyond belief because he's got a share in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
So now he just picks and chooses what he does. And he specifically said, the thing is, this new building is going to overlook our garden. It's in the middle of London as well, by the way. It's like in Marylebone, right in the centre of London, which surprised me. I thought I had him down as a sort of home counties kind of a guy, right, in a big mansion. But no, he lives in the middle of town.
In the middle of the big city.
Yeah, and he goes, me and my wife, he's got a Scandinavian wife, if I remember rightly, and he goes...
Ingrid, isn't she called?
Yeah, I think it's Ingrid. And he goes, like, we've got this little sun trap spot out the back of our house that we like to sunbathe in. But if they complete this new building, we're going to lack the privacy to do it. And you're thinking, what privacy? For a start, we only get sunbathing weather a few days a year. And secondly, what exactly do you need? But he said, we would like to wear our swimsuits. He said it. He's come out and said it.
Yeah.
But I would say...
Why can't they?
She's Scandinavian. So my suspicion...
Actually, Ingrid's his former wife. They were divorced in 2007. His current partner is his current partner is called Jane Bird.
Yeah.
Me and Jane Bird, we want to
put on our swimming cossies and get out there, let it all hang out. We can't do that with some fucker fucking leering out the window at us. I'm very conscious of my body. I'm not one of these guys who's happy to strut about on peacock. I'm quite insecure. I've got a couple of man tits that I'm very insecure about. I don't like sharing them about for everyone to ogle at.
Paparazzi getting a look at them.
Yeah.
Splashing them everywhere.
Yeah. You got fucking strangers all over the internet masturbating over Chris Tarrant's titties. I don't like it. I've got to fuck it. That reminds me, I can't tell it because it's not my story to tell and I won't remember the detail. But what I will tell you the headline is that I've got a great story about Paul Danan going to a charity auction. Paul Danan told me this himself, so he won't mind. He goes to a charity auction. This is years ago. Gets pissed, right? And bids to show off because there's other celebrities there. Starts bidding, pissed, for a tennis day with Chris and Ingrid Tarrant. Right, plus like a professional, right? And Chris Tarrant is the auctioneer because it's him and Ingrid. It's their charity event that they do for celebrities and rich people every year. And Paul Danan's trying to show off, and he's pissed up, so he starts bidding against some rich fucker, right? And he won't stop bidding, and in the end, he buys it for like 50 grand, right? 50 grand that he hasn't got.
Fucking hell.
And he spends the next 6 months dodging calls from Chris and Ingrid Tarrant. And he keeps getting going. Hi, it's I can't do Chris Tarrant. Oh, it's Chris Tarrant here. Paul, just wondering if you're gonna still haven't received the money that you kindly donated for the tennis day. Plus, we do need to arrange the dates as well.
Ingrid and I have got our rackets ready. We're ready to go whenever you are.
Naked. And I believe,
or at least in swimsuits.
I said I wouldn't tell this story, but I sort of have. But his version's much funnier than mine because he's got so much detail. I think it was resolved that in the end, Chris Tarrant just sort of went, "Fuck it, I'll just buy it." So he sort of effectively bought a tennis day with himself or with his wife.
And Danan was disinvited from it.
Yeah, I think in the end, like Danan had to he had to what do you call it? He had to fall at the feet of Chris Tarrant. I just go, look, I was
Prostrate.
I was pissed. I don't even remember. I mean, I'm not saying you're lying, but I mean, I don't think that you would make it up. And it sounds like the sort of thing I would do. But put it this way, I can't fucking remember doing it. And I ain't got the money. And I would love to play tennis with you. But what can I tell you? And I know it's for a good cause.
I understand if that's out of the question now, Chris. That's something I'm going to have to live with. But
that's exactly what it was like. Yeah, so that's Chris Tarrant. And but there was a reason. Oh yeah, you said about that, didn't you? You said about that. Yeah, I can't remember. We were talking about animal crackers, and
I don't know. Hey, we just need to wrap it up now because this is the first YouTube thing, and anything could go wrong with the technology.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
it could all be ruined.
So let's just call it a draw.
Wait though, because we won't have time to talk about this later. Just quickly, I won't interrupt. I promise. But I didn't see all the football at the weekend, but I have watched a clip of Roy Hodgson losing his shit with that Sheffield United player.
Yes.
Me and Lenny watched that together 20 times this morning.
Yes, incredible.
Once you start watching it, you can't stop watching it, can you?
Yeah.
The look on his,
it's amazing.
The venom in his face.
Yeah.
For an old man, like he's ready to fucking murder him, and he could as well.
But the lad hit him.
Well, the
lad hit him.
He pushed him in his tummy. I rewatched it a lot of times, and at first I thought he'd gone for his balls, but he sort of pushed his hand into his tummy. It was a tummy. Yeah, push.
Well, Roy mentioned it in the interview afterwards. He said, "He hit me with my left hook."
No,
in the guts. He did. A match of the day. Yeah, he referenced it.
God, he fucking gets grumpier the older he gets. He reminds me of one of those old
he's
cats.
Amazing.
One of those old cats who gets grumpy as they get older and starts like lashing out all the time. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I'm glad he's back in football. All right, that's it. Then we'll call it a day, and we'll be back throughout the week with IFS new stuff. And we're going to do 2 of these YouTube video things a month. That's our contractual obligation. So watch them, don't watch them, whatever. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.